right, good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. I apologize for the short delay. We got engrossed in talking about some workforce development issues up front with the governor and all about KC Tech Academy, which we'll talk a little bit more about here. But you know, I get a little bit excited. Most of you are friends and partners within that initiative, so I got a little bit long-winded and some very exciting stuff. So without further ado, welcome everyone. It's an honor and a privilege for Magna LMV Automotive Systems to welcome Governor Parson here in celebration of international investment. I'll make a proclamation in support of that in the near future. And other folks that I'd like to make sure we take note of. We have Mayor of Liberty, Lendell Brenton, elected official. Thank you. And did Representative Berry make it here as well? I didn't catch him. I think he did. So, also Nancy McClernand, who we'll hear from the Organization for International Investment, OFI. Welcome, Nancy. And not to be remiss, all of the great support we have from not just Magna employees, but local community leaders from education, from Liberty and Kearney schools, and all of the other industry partners that we have with us today. We appreciate you being here for this event. It means a lot to us. Thank you. A little bit more about Magna. So many of you in the room are familiar with the company. LMV Automotive Systems put its footprint here in 2012. But Magna as a whole is a multinational company, number 3 automotive supplier in the world. So this happens to be just one of 339 facilities throughout the world. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this place is pretty special. It's pretty special in a way that within those 339 plants, Magna evaluates us to a system called MAFAC, Magna Factory Concept. Who's the best at world-class manufacturing in our pursuit therein? So I'm happy to say that this plant and the team here is number 1 out of all 339 of those plants. So a great accomplishment for this team. So Magna within the U.S., Magna is a Canadian company. We have 58 U.S. plants. 58 U.S. plants representing $1.3 billion in payroll. Those 58 plants spent over $7 billion to 1,600 suppliers this last year. So significant economic impact from those 58 manufacturing facilities. In Missouri alone, we have 900 employees, between 650 here, the remainder being in Excelsior Springs at the Magna Seating facility. So some of you will recall just 3 years ago we were in this room. We were in this repurposed room doing a ribbon cutting on the Innovation and Training Center where we stand today. A lot of great programs with Northline Caps, many others. One that we're going to introduce you to today is in association with special education at Liberty Public Schools. We'll meet some of the students who are learning more about manufacturing in hopes of having an enjoyable career here. And skilled trades development program. So we've been finding some of the best out of our associations with the Northline Career Center, with Northline Caps, and offering them scholarships, bringing them in, trying to fill this skills need gap that we have in the area. That's been great, but it needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger than Magna, but Magna wants to continue to be a part of it. So next up is KC Tech Academy. It's already launched. This year it sits next door. Next year I don't know where it's going to sit, but it's going to be a lot bigger. It's going to be a lot bigger because of a lot of the participation, support, and partnerships that we have in this room. So I know it's something that Governor Parson feels strongly about, something that many of us who have been working on this project in this room feel very strongly about. And it is absolutely going to be a regional training center where we can start attaching to more of those juniors and seniors in high school and more of those adults who are looking for another path, who are looking for a way to improve their lives and their careers. it can't be one company alone, and the list is growing longer day by day. It needs to be industry driven. Industry needs to be saying this is what we need to do, and that's what's happening. It takes all of the right partners working together. Our hope is that we will be developing professionals who are workforce ready in high demand technical skills driven by industry. That is going to be the mission of KC Tech Academy. As I mentioned, the list is growing, and some breaking news, thanks to the efforts of our partners, Mike Stradinger, CEO of Holland 1916, Tori Peterson, President of Align, and Lathrop Gage. We filed paperwork just yesterday making KC Tech Academy a 501c3 that will still be heavily participated in by Magna, but it's not a Magna thing. It's a Kansas City thing, and it's a Missouri thing. It's going to be a regional training center. So exciting time for that. So what we're really here today for is to talk about international investment, but I think that's a great backdrop. This is what a Canadian company who cares deeply about its community, about its business, wants to improve the lives and the skill sets of the people that we have here. This is what that international investment can do. And we're only just beginning. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Nancy McClernand. She is the President and CEO for the Organization for International Investment, OFI. Go ahead, Nancy.
Great. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Andy, Governor Parson, and Chris as well. It's really great to be here in Liberty. So I'm very privileged to be the President and CEO of the Organization for International Investment, and we are a trade association of more than 210 international companies in the United States. And we're here today to talk about the importance of global connections, international company, and as well as Governor Parson's economic leadership in this area. And in addition to Magna, our organization has a variety of companies in the state. Nestle, Bunzl, Unilever, ABB, Panasonic, and Anheuser-Busch. These are all companies that are headquartered outside the United States but have made this very deliberate decision to invest in this country and employ Americans. So when a French company, a Canadian company, or a German company sets up operations in the United States, us wonks in DC call it foreign direct investment, but many of you just call it a job. And about 110,000 people in your state get a paycheck every day from an international company. And my organization and my team gets up every morning trying to ensure that the U.S. remains the #1 location for cross-border investment, for inward investment. You all know what outsourcing is. This is insourcing, right? When that Canadian company sets up shop here. And I'm really pleased to say that, and you should be proud, that Missouri workers are doing a great job attracting international companies to your state. So you should be really proud of that. Over the last 5 years alone, international companies have increased the jobs in the state by over 34%. And that compares to a little over 7% for companies across the state. So international companies are kind of leading the way for job creation right here in the Show Me State. And Missouri's track record on this is really important because of all of the variety of different contributions that international companies make to the United States. And it's particularly concentrated in our manufacturing sector. So international companies employ about 20% of all U.S. manufacturing jobs. Very counterintuitive. These companies are coming here, employing U.S. workers, and making things here in the United States. And over the last 5 years, 54%, over half, of all new manufacturing jobs are in international companies. So any resurgence of U.S. manufacturing dominance is going to be courtesy of global connections and international investment in the United States. And foreign direct investment here makes our economy more first governor in Missouri's history to issue what's called an open investment policy statement. And you may think, it's just another proclamation, why do we care about it? But in this moment in time, companies, global companies, are concerned about the rising skepticism about global economy, global connections, and they are looking for places to invest into business that there is certainty. And so Governor Parson's Act today will echo throughout not just the United States, but around the world, because the competition for cross-border investment is fierce. It's fierce around the world as well as it is domestically, because you've got all these other states trying to attract international investment as well. And when I talk to executives, and Andy was no different this morning, one of the main reasons a company locates someplace is the quality of U.S. workers. And so you all should feel enormously proud. And I know that the governor is laser focused on workforce development. We were talking about that a little earlier. And so issuing this proclamation at this facility today is the perfect backdrop. As Andy was talking about all the efforts that this company has given to workforce training, its leadership in the KC Tech Academy. It's really fantastic. And international companies actually lead around the world on some world-class workforce training. So it makes complete sense to me, all the things I heard this morning from Andy in terms of what you all are doing. So I hope you all that are here that work for this company are proud to work for LMV as well as Magna. And I hope that you all can be ambassadors. Took a cab over here this morning talking to the cab driver about global connections and cross-border investment, and I felt I did my part because I talked to her and I said, we're going to this company here and this is what it's doing. She said, that's how we win at the global economy. And so it's just such a great story, and the fact that a Canadian company is spending so much time and effort to develop a sustainable workforce is huge and really very counterintuitive. So I'm really pleased to be here today, and I am thrilled about the proclamation, Governor, that you're about to announce. And with that,
Thank you very much, Nancy. So she's got this down. You speak much more eloquently about this international investment thing than I ever hoped. So thank you. It's a great message. So without further ado, the person whom we're all here to see, most importantly, Governor Mike Parson. Governor, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good to be here in Liberty this morning. Good to be here at Magna this morning. But we were talking a little earlier with Nancy and Andy and Chris. They were giving me all these important briefings, everything go on. But I'm really here for another important reason. I need to figure out where you guys are all at out here, since I'm talking to them tonight. But how about them Kansas City Chiefs? Six and one. I told the security guy out there, that big monitor he had, I said, when I'm traveling, I want to take that with me so I don't have to watch these games in them hotel rooms all the time. So, but it's great. It's a great, exciting time for Kansas City. My staff had a great talking points and speech I was supposed to give you this morning. But really, after listening to Andy and Nancy, I just want to focus on some of the things that they said and how important it is to me when it comes to workforce development. And to be in this room today, this is how I vision the new Missouri, the future of Missouri, of how we're going to meet those demands. And as I look at a company like Magna for what they're doing and the opportunities they give people in Missouri, that is really something we want to focus on as a number one priority. And Andy mentioned that, hey, you know, that the governor talks about this being his number one priority. You know, I don't want to talk about it being the number one priority. I want to get it done. I really want to focus with the legislator and myself as governor to say, look, whatever we can do to make workforce development better in this state and meet the demands, that's what we're going to do. I get all the thousands of issues we got to deal with in state government, but really stay focused here, because that's really where the future of Missouri is. That's how we're going to change lives. It's how we're going to change who Missouri is. Andy was in there one day when he was giving a presentation, and he was talking about how much they had done personally through the company to have this center here to team up with North Lane caps and to do his part. And he kind of off the cuff said, you know, at some point though, you know, we're going to need, a little bit more funding. You know, I said, okay, not a problem. And I mean that. One of the things we're going to do, we're going to invest in it too. I'm meeting with my administration right now, and we're talking about really putting money into the workforce of the state of Missouri. And how do we get that training for those young men and women in school, and how do you get them prepared for this workforce? Because as we talk back there, you know, let's face it, $60,000, $70,000 jobs are good jobs in this state. 65 to 70% of people in this state don't have college degrees. That's our workforce out there. There's nothing wrong with the ones that do, but the reality of it is we've got to start preparing people for post-secondary education, some sort of education. And other states have done that. So it's not like we got to invent the wheel. But you really got to tell some kid, you got to tell a teacher, you got to tell a counselor to make them understand it's okay to go to work for Magna. It is a great company. It is a great facility. You'll like working here. And you know, and the benefits. Matter of fact, we're just walking down here a while ago, and Chris was telling me that during the flex hours, if you kind of want to come to work, you go to work. If you don't, different things like that. Well, that's really how we're going to build Missouri. That's where the future is going to end up for the workforce, is how companies take care of employees. And I think even when Nancy was talking about how competitive it is on the international market, you think how competitive it is to get those good employees. So the demand is there. We just got to meet the demands, and we got to make sure people are prepared for that. And one of the reasons I wanted to come here, and Andy talked about what all this company did, and how many countries they're in, and how many jobs are in this state. But on that international side of it, what Nancy's talked about and what she represents, see, I want Missouri to do better. And just let me tell you, from the position of governor, when I go to meetings all the time, everybody goes to China, they go to India, they go to Brazil, some of the bigger markets, which is fine to have trading partners in there. But really what I want Missouri to look at is secondary markets. Who are those countries out there that we're not there yet? And how do we open trade with them? That we have an opportunity to do business overseas, and that's why that proclamation today is so important. Because here's what I want them to know, and Nancy understands that. But I want people, when she goes talk to somebody, says, hey, Missouri's open for business. Missouri wants your business. They want to be a trading partner with you, and we want to expand. Recently, Boeing in St. Louis just received a $16 billion contract. Now, for a farm boy like me, that's kind of hard to comprehend sometimes. $16 billion. You know, it's like, how long does it take you to spend that? You know, but the reality of it is that's probably a 15 or 20-year contract. So what does that tell you as a company, or as employees, or as the governor of the state of Missouri? It tells you there's stability there for a long time. Saying there's going to be opportunities for subcontractors. And I'm sure this company, if I really probably would find out how many subcontractors you got attached to you that may be supplying you with material or raw material, whatever it might be. So if you take this company or Boeing, either one, I want to know who those subcontractors are. And I want to figure out where they're at. And I want to go out there and sell them if they're out of state. I'm self-serving Missouri, but that's my job. I want to convince them to come to Missouri and open up their business here in Missouri. Say, look, you've got a job security here for 15, 20 years. Bring your company here to Missouri, or internationally, bring your company here. Here's the demands we have in this state. And that's where I see the future of Missouri. But the only way we get it done on the workforce development side of it, for all of you that's in this room today, and for your leaders and for your employees that are here, you know, we got to make sure everybody knows the private sector has to be involved in the education institutions in this state. We have to work together. Private sector, government, and our education institutions have to work together to realize this is something that is, we got to do better. And we got to admit right now we're not doing the best we can because we are short on these employees. So we got to figure out ways, how do we make sure your kids, your grandkids have those opportunities to be there? And how do we teach them that in school? And some of the things that you're doing here where we're bringing kids in here to learn a trade while they're still in school, that's great. Because that's what we need to be doing more of. It doesn't matter whether it's this company, whether it's healthcare, whatever industry you want to talk about, it's there, whether it's IT. But those are the exciting things that I look for in Missouri. That's why I'm excited to sign a proclamation, which for a lot of you out there say, okay, what's a proclamation? What's that do? Probably 20, 50 years ago, I probably said the same thing. But the reality of it is, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because we're going to be able to use that again and be able to prove that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm excited to be here. Now, in the past, I'm going to share one little story with you. I told you a while ago. In my younger day, I used to turn wrenches for a living, and I'm kind of a little bit of a gearhead. So anytime I'm around automobile parts or cars, I always kind of glance over my shoulder to see what they're doing out here, and trying to figure out how all that works in today's technology. But as I walk through this facility, and I just looking down there, and you know, some of you guys kind of old school like I am, with wrenches, welders, cut-off saws, and all that stuff. But mainly what I've seen out there was technology. And today, as I travel around the state, I'm going to be signing a piece of legislation. It's called STEM, and it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's what we got to teach these young kids and everything, how to work in companies like this and how to be prepared to work in there. And you don't have to have a college degree for that. You just got to have the skills. Privilege to be here today, to be here to talk to you. Honor and privilege to be here in Magna, be able to talk to Nancy about her international trade and what she represents. But more importantly, it's an honor and privilege to be the 57th governor of the state of Missouri. God bless every one of you that are here today, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Governor Parson. And as we transition here, that's the end of the formal comments. We're going to focus our attention over here as we sign the proclamation. I do want to make one last mention for sure. We're going to take the governor on a tour and show him some other things out in the factory. But I want to make sure, Governor Parson, that you speak with 3 specific people as we're walking around on that tour. They're educators, and they're pioneers, and they're leaders in exactly what you're talking about, exactly what you're saying, where we need to make sure that we make those connections. So Dr. Jeremy Tucker, Superintendent of Liberty Public Schools, Dr. Bill Nicely, Kearney School District Superintendent, and Colleen Jones, College of Career Preparedness. I want you to make sure that we get some time with them, because you need to hear their message. We got it going on in this region, and we're looking forward to your support. Thank you.
Thank you. We got it. All right. All right, that was my first official proclamation to go overseas to talk about international trade. How about that?